All right. Welcome back to the channel, subscribers. Tim Bradley is playing the blocker for Manny Pacquiao, trying to crap on some of the best fights that can be made by the PBC, and I don't think that's an accident. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified if we release more videos. And also thank you to the two communities that really support this channel. Thank you so much to everybody that comes through the live streams, supports through the super chat, through the Cash App. Thank you guys so much for all the support, and also my Patreons over on Finance Business and Politics. Thank you guys so much for your support over there. Please attend OG Boxing Talk Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time with myself, KQKC Boxing, Curtis Anderson, and Blood Boxing. Again, this Sunday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, man. Tim Bradley, ESPN's local mouthpiece, newfound mouthpiece, the new Teddy Atlas, the chocolate Teddy Atlas over here off on the microphone, being interviewed about what he thought about Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. Now, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, as we know, is the WBA welterweight champion in a division where there are two other champions and a couple other, I would call, and I hope that you would agree, called elite level fighters. Now, you have the unified WBC and IBF champion, Errol the Truth Spence Jr. You have the WBO champion, who is Terence Crawford. And then you have a guy that is the former IBF and the former WBC champion, who just recently lost to Errol Spence Jr. in a tremendous fight. But the fight before that beat Yordenis Ugas. The fight before that beat Danny Garcia, and that is Shawn Porter. I don't think it's anything but fair to call Shawn Porter an elite level fighter. And anybody with a belt, when they have an opening to fight somebody, Shawn Porter, without a doubt, deserves a shot at that. Another shot at the title, without a doubt. Shawn Porter has proven that he is a top-notch, elite level fighter. Now, Tim Bradley doesn't think Manny Pacquiao should fight any of them. If he was Manny Pacquiao, if he was directing Manny Pacquiao, he would have Manny Pacquiao avoid Terence Crawford. He would have Manny Pacquiao avoid Errol Spence. He would have Manny Pacquiao avoid Shawn Porter. So pretty much Tim Bradley would have Manny Pacquiao avoid, who is a champion, a reigning champion. Okay, this is not somebody that's just in the division. This is somebody that is a reigning champion in the division. Tim Bradley would have him avoid all the other champions. If he wants to do that, Tim Bradley, why don't you just call for Manny Pacquiao to drop his belt? Because that would be the only reason to justify him not fighting other champions. Now, I find this really interesting because this is something that Tim Bradley himself did by not fighting Floyd Mayweather Jr. See, these guys, I think what's behind this stuff with Tim Bradley, I really believe that somebody's in Tim Bradley's ear, and he is not going to support something that is on the other side of the street. Now, Tim Bradley has been contradicting himself left, right, front, and center. Before, he said there is no other side of the street, but when he was fighting, he said that there was another side of the street. So now he's sitting on one side of the street that he named the side of the street out of his mouth, talking about fights that would happen on the other side of the street and discouraging them from happening. Now, I can understand the logic of why somebody would say Manny Pacquiao shouldn't fight these guys. Manny Pacquiao is 40 years old. Manny Pacquiao has over 60 fights. Manny Pacquiao has been in a series of wars. He had a tough fight with Keith Thurman. Without a doubt, he had a tough fight with Keith Thurman. There's a lot of revisionist history about that fight, because Manny Pacquiao definitely won the fight, but Manny Pacquiao did not get through that fight unscathed. There were stretches of that fight where Manny Pacquiao was getting hit with straight right hands and really didn't react to them well. Now, I don't mean that he got wobbled. I mean that they came straight down the pipe, right at him. He had time to see him, and he did not move or get out of the way of that fight of it. But regardless, he's fighting. That can happen when you're fighting another elite heavyweight. Welterweight. Keith Thurman, although he had his time off, he had almost 2 years off, if I recall correctly, and he came back for not a tune-up. It wound up not being a tune-up fight. Probably should have never been considered a tune-up fight with a guy the caliber of Josecito Lopez. But he had a hard fight with Josecito Lopez. Josecito Lopez hurt him to the body. Manny Pacquiao decides to fight him. Manny Pacquiao also hurts him to the body. But all in all, Keith Thurman is still a top-level fighter. He's no slouch. It's not easy to beat that guy. So clearly, Manny Pacquiao's still enough on his game where he can trouble the top-level fighters. But to say that he shouldn't fight them means that you think that he should just hold on to the belt and just fight whoever he wants. That's the same type of stuff that these people are coming up with these franchise champions that they're putting out in boxing. With Canelo Alvarez not having to be able to hold on to a title at 160 pounds and never fight a mandatory. In fact, he can hold on to a belt at 160 pounds and never fight at 160 pounds. Because there's nothing in that rule that means that he has to defend his title at any point in time. He could just forever sit up at 100. He could sit up at 168, fight Liam and Walsh and whoever else he wants to fight, some guy and get his DAZN paychecks. Never fight a champion of a top level 168 pound champion, but still be the WBC 160 pound franchise champion. That's the same thing that Tim Bradley is asking for Manny Pacquiao to do. Sit there with the belt, dare the WBA to force you to fight somebody, but not fight the top level fighters. If Manny Pacquiao is not going to fight those guys, Manny Pacquiao needs to drop the belt. However, I don't believe that that's what Manny Pacquiao is about. I think that Manny Pacquiao is going to fight one of those guys. More than likely, it's going to be the weaker of the links. Now, first, it'll probably be somebody, because I think he just won the belt. He doesn't have a mandatory. So him fighting a guy like Mikey Garcia, I don't have a problem with that. That's going to be that'll be an entertaining fight, something that I will pay my $75 to see. It'll allow Manny Pacquiao to put some more money in that pocketbook, something he definitely deserves. So, but after he fights that fight, then it needs to probably be the winner of whoever Errol Spence Jr. fights next. After he comes back from his injuries, overcomes his injuries from that car accident. If Errol Spence Jr., I think Errol Spence Jr. was supposed to fight Danny Garcia. So if Errol Spence Jr. comes back in full shape, feels good, all that, and he's able to beat Danny Garcia, then Manny Pacquiao needs to fight Errol Spence Jr. after that. After they both have fights with their Garcias, and then those guys come together and fight one another. Right? As far as Terence Crawford, or he can fight Terence Crawford. But see, we know that it's not going to be Terence Crawford. Right? Because Bob Arum had the same mentality about Manny Pacquiao that Tim Bradley has. That Manny Pacquiao shouldn't fight him. This was admitted by Bob Arum maybe about a year ago now, maybe not quite a year, where Bob Arum had admitted that he was the reason that Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford didn't happen when Manny Pacquiao was still with Top Rank. Because Bob Arum said that he knew what the outcome of that fight was going to be. And since he knew that Manny Pacquiao wasn't going to win, he didn't want to make the fight. See, what Bob Arum is saying and what Tim Bradley is saying is essentially one of the bigger problems in boxing. They talk about, these guys in one breath talk about how the best need to fight the best, right? And all the things standing in the way of making these big fights. But then they run their mouths and stand in the way of big fights, of the best fighting the best. You have to consider Manny Pacquiao one of the best. He beat Keith Thurman. He won the WBA championship. The WBA championship, the super championship, he came from the regular champion and then won the super champion at welterweight. So he held both of those belts. He's clearly the WBA champion. A WBA champion is a major championship belt. So clearly this guy is one of the best. Errol Spence Jr. holds 2 championship belts at 147 pounds. Clearly he's the best. One of the best. Same thing for Terence Crawford, but they don't want those fights to happen. On one breath, they're saying that they want the best fight to fight the best. They want the best to fight the best as long as it suits their agenda. That's what they want. That's what they want. Anyway, it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.